Hey, this is Chris, keeping it real, facts over fear. How you doing this morning? What I really want to know is if you have been vaccinated and now you have to wear a mask because your university or your employer requires it, even though you're vaccinated, and you can prove you're vaccinated. How does it make you feel that you still have to mask up? Wasn't this the point of the exercise, was to get people vaccinated so we could get rid of the masks? I mean, we got rid of the mask mandate in North Carolina by and large. I think it was May 26th. And now we've had this, and actually, the governor actually lifted the statewide mask mandate yesterday. It was yesterday afternoon. And so I found that to be very interesting. He's going to work through businesses to try to make sure that the employees are all vaccinated and are masking up if they're not vaccinated. But there's no longer a statewide mandate for masks. So that part is good. But if you go to UNC or North Carolina State, or Duke is requiring vaccinations of all students. I'm not sure that that's legal, given that this is an emergency use authorization drug. Vaccine. I don't think that's quite right, but everybody's got to wear a mask on all those campuses, even if you've been vaccinated. It's like, isn't that kind of like, there was a deal in place, and now a lot of places are just saying, especially the CDC, I know we said that, but we're changing our mind again. So the latest guidance from CDC is even people who are vaccinated should wear masks indoors. And so the first thing that pops to mind, my first point was the first thing that popped to mind. But doesn't that sound like there was this agreement, and that now that agreement's been broken? But second of all, is anybody at the CDC really thinking about what effect this is going to have on future vaccinations? Because being able to not wear a mask was it might have been for a lot of people, the check mark in the positive column that said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Well, now it's like, if you have to wear a mask anyway, well, why bother getting the vaccine? I mean, I understand you get some protection against the disease, against the virus, and that's maybe good, maybe bad. It certainly works, but we still don't know the long-term consequences of this vaccine, because it's only been in use for a year, and that includes the clinical trials. And so you're trying to get people vaccinated, but you're saying, well, if you get vaccinated, your normal everyday life is really not going to change a whole lot. It's like, okay, well, then I guess I won't, because that's just one less reason for me to get vaccinated. So I don't know, who's really in charge over there. I just know they're not very good at PR, and they're really not good at science. I mean, they keep saying they're following the science, and yet this latest guidance is based on a study done in India that's not been, it's been peer-reviewed and rejected, so it's not peer-reviewed. And if you don't know what peer-reviewed means, it means a bunch of other scientists looked at the way they did the study, and they've decided it's not valid. So that's what peer review does. It decides whether or not a study is valid or not. And India does not use the same kinds of vaccines that we use. They use AstraZeneca, and they use one from Russia, and they use some other, I think they do their own, which to me, it's kind of surprising they don't do all their own, because, they are India, and they make most of the drugs in the world, so. So we're not following science here. We're just following what somebody wants to do, and that's all there is to it, because they can, and they can call it guidance. I mean, they're not telling anybody what to do, but a lot of people are going to listen to it because they are the CDC, and they're supposed to know what they're doing, but obviously they don't. So those are just my thoughts this morning on this subject. Nothing that's happened in the last week. The cases continue to rise. I'll do a chart when I get home. The cases are going up. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I'm not you know. But again, it's really the deaths that count, the number of people in the hospital that count, and we'll see. We'll see. Unfortunately, deaths, lag behind the cases they can lag as much as a month, and so this uptick started about 2 weeks ago now, and so we should start seeing an uptick in the death rate. But if we don't, then we know it's much ado about nothing. If it does, then we know that it's more serious than I actually think it is. But right now, people getting a case doesn't really in and of itself mean much, except that the numbers are kind of high. But I've done other videos on that explaining why, and I do have another video to do because there was a factor that I overlooked, and I don't want to burden this video with another 4 or 5 minutes of talking. So, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. Like and subscribe. We appreciate when you do, and we'll see you on the next